Dear viewers, don't forget to like this video and subscribe this channel. Enjoy your listening.
I, 34 years old, never thought the people who were supposed to welcome me into their family would spend nearly a decade trying to tear mine apart. But last Tuesday night, as my wife Sarah, 32 years old, stared at me with tears in her eyes and asked, "Do you even love me anymore?" I realized her parents had finally succeeded in getting inside her head. A little background. It was the kind of meet-cute you'd roll your eyes at in a rom-com. I was a sleep-deprived grad student. She was the caffeine goddess behind the counter at Bean There. Done that. The first time I saw Sarah, she was arguing with the espresso machine like it had personally offended her. I ordered a black coffee, basic, reliable, just like me. She handed it to me with a smirk and said, "You look like you need this more than I need tips." I came back every morning for 2 weeks before I worked up the nerve to ask her out. When I finally did, she laughed and said, "Took you long enough. I was starting to think you just really loved our terrible coffee." We bonded over dumb stuff. Her obsession with true crime podcasts, my ability to quote every The Office episode, the fact that we both hated kale. It was easy, right up until I met her family. Sarah's parents didn't just disapprove of me, they disapproved of everything I represented. I grew up in a blue-collar family. My dad was a mechanic, my mom a nurse. We weren't poor, but we didn't have generational wealth or Ivy League connections. Meanwhile, Sarah's family had generational everything. Money, status, even a goddamn family crest. Yes, really. It was on their Christmas cards. But her family, they was different. They weren't just wealthy. They were the kind of rich that whispered rather than shouted. The sort of family where the silverware had been polished by the same butler for 3 generations, and where summer wasn't a season but a verb. Oh, we summer in Newport. Her father, a federal judge who carried himself like he was still presiding over a courtroom even at the breakfast table. He measured out his words like legal precedent, each syllable weighed and deliberate. His collection of antique pocket watches wasn't just a hobby. It was a not-so-subtle reminder that everyone's time was ultimately his to control. Her mother, a renowned surgeon with hands steady enough to repair a child's heart, but somehow always trembling with disapproval when reaching for the salt shaker next to me. She ran family dinners with the same precision as her operating theater. Place settings measured with a ruler, conversation topics pre-approved, and any display of emotion treated like a contaminant in her sterile environment, their world. Their home felt less like a residence and more like a museum exhibit titled, "How the Elite Have Lived Since the Revolution." Oil portraits of grim-faced ancestors followed you with their eyes. The furniture was so old and pristine, you suspected they'd had the children raised in a separate wing to prevent wear and tear. Even the books in their library seemed to resent being read. The first time I met them, I knew I was being sized up and found wanting. The interview dinner. Her dad grilled me about my 5-year plan, while slicing his steak like a courtroom cross-examination. Sarah used to date a Stanford law grad. Such a shame they drifted apart. The unspoken rules. I learned the hard way that you never, ever pour your own wine at their table. It's common. But the real kicker? Jason. Jason was the ghost haunting our relationship. Sarah's childhood friend, her parents' ideal son-in-law, a trust fund lawyer who'd been in love with her since prep school. Every family gathering included a "Jason just bought a vineyard" or "Jason's in Monaco with his Porsche" update. I tried to kill them with kindness, brought her mom flowers, helped her dad fix his golf cart, but nothing was enough. The wedding wars. When we got engaged, her parents offered to pay for the wedding, with strings. Guest list. Cull. They tried to cut my side to 20 people. The country club has capacity limits. The prenup push. Her dad slid a 50-page document across his mahogany desk with a smile. Just protecting our little girl. The Jason factor. They accidentally seated him at the same table as Sarah's single cousins. He gave a toast about timing not being right. Sarah stood by me then. But I should have seen the warning signs. How she'd bite her lip when they criticized me. How she'd later say, "They don't mean it like that." The slow poison. After the wedding, the digs got subtler but sharper. Career advice. You're still at that startup? Jason's firm is hiring. Gifts with Barbs. A luxury watch for job interviews. I'd been employed for 8 years. The fertility clock. Sarah's not getting any younger. we'd agreed to wait. Worst of all, I watched Sarah start to believe them. She'd suddenly question our finances, our life choices, always after a casual chat with her mom. By year 7, the cracks were everywhere. Then came the anniversary dinner that broke us. For years, it was little things. Christmas gifts. My brother-in-law got a Rolex. I got a self-help book. Financial literacy for dummies. Innocent questions. When are you going to stop renting? We owned our apartment. Do you really need 2 beers? It was my first. The comparisons. Sarah's childhood friend Jason, now a hedge fund manager, magically became a topic at every family dinner. Sarah always brushed it off. "They're just protective," she'd say. But I noticed her laughing less at their jokes. She started questioning small decisions. Maybe we should wait to buy a car until you get promoted, even though we could afford it. The breaking point. Then came the anniversary dinner from hell. Her parents took us to a fancy restaurant to celebrate. Halfway through the meal, her dad smirked and said, "7 years? That's longer than we expected." Sarah laughed, but that night, she sat on the edge of our bed and asked the question that shattered me.
Do you think we rushed into this?
Maybe my parents were right about us. I wish I could say I handled it perfectly. I didn't. I yelled. I cried. I may have Googled how to disown your in-laws, but then we did something radical. We went to therapy. Our therapist called it what it was. This isn't about your marriage. It's about control. They're mourning the life they imagined for her. I invited her parents over, just the 4 of us. No more hiding. Her mom started with her usual script. "We just want what's best for her." But this time, Sarah cut her off. "Then be happy I am happy," she said, her voice shaking, "or you won't be part of our lives at all." The silence was deafening. That was 6 months ago. Things aren't perfect. They still forget I'm vegetarian at holidays, but they're trying. And Sarah, she's rediscovering the woman who fell in love with me, not the one her parents tried to mold. Last week, her dad called me for the first time to ask for help setting up his new TV. Progress. To be short, it took 3 years of strained holidays, countless midnight quarrels, and one spectacularly disastrous family reunion involving a ruined heirloom, gravy boat, and words that can't be taken back, before we finally found our footing. At first, it was a cold war. We skipped Sunday dinners. They forgot our anniversary. Every phone call with them left my wife in tears, torn between the family she was raised in and the one we were building together. But slowly, painfully, things began to shift. The turning point. The Christmas our daughter was born. They showed up unannounced at the hospital, arms full of absurdly expensive baby gifts. And for the first time, I saw real fear in the judge's eyes when he held her. Not fear of me, but of missing out. Of becoming just another oil portrait on the wall to his granddaughter. These days we exist in careful equilibrium. They get one holiday a year, Thanksgiving with strict time limits. I don't comment when they slip our kid $100 bills for her trust fund. They've stopped mentioning him entirely, though I caught the judge Googling how to be a cool grandpa last year. The unexpected victory. Last month, over truly terrible golf, another concession. The old man gruffly admitted, "You're not what we pictured, but she's happy." It wasn't an apology, but for this family, it was a revolution. We'll never be close, but we've learned to share the same world. One where my daughter will grow up knowing she's loved, not measured. And really, that's the only inheritance that matters. So to anyone out there dealing with toxic in-laws, hold on. Sometimes love means fighting for your partner, even when you're fighting against the people they love. And sometimes, all it takes is 7 years, a near divorce, and knowing how to work a damn remote control to finally be good enough.
Thanks for listening this story. Share your opinion in comments below. See you in next video.